Hey guys, welcome back to Cheerful Checkmates. It's good to have you here with me. We're on chess.com, looking at a four-player chess where every game is an adventure. All right, so this game is one of my own games, and it's been played, and I kind of want to show you the analysis because let me tell you, this game is so wild. It is just an insane ride. And let's just take a look at it and see if you agree with me. So I'm playing the blue pieces here, and red starts by opening up his queen and bishop. Pretty active move. I start by countering and opening my own queen and bishop. So standard stuff here. Yellow follows. So this is all standard opening. He's following suit and so on. Green plays this. It's a bit more passive, but I guess he's trying to block this diagonal proactively. So game goes on, lots of lines opening up. I had a mate threat I had to parry right away with this pawn. So here we are. And yeah, yellow's being pretty aggressive here. He saw that green made a passive move, so right away he's attacking. So if you see my videos, you know sometimes four-player chess games get super sharp right off the bat. And this game is 100% one of those. So green blocks, and red plays on. Game goes on. I open up my own queen, and yellow blocks. Green develops, and off we go. So we're all in development mode here, and you'll notice right away. Look at how many lines red has open on green, and look at how passive green's position is. And look at these pieces, man. They are just eyeing everything in green's camp. So green's got to be real careful here. And he plays this to block the bishop from eyeing this weak pawn. All fair. And I don't know about this move by red. I think this move by red weakens his dark squares a little bit too much. Like, look at this. These are all super weak now. And I know he has a dark square bishop, but without it, he'd be in real trouble. So I see that, and I go for a plan to fianchetto my bishop. Not the queen, fianchetto my bishop. And I know yellow can take on passant, but I think he's got... I don't think it can really hurt me much. He decides not to do that. He decides to attack green. And that makes sense because of how many things are just eyeing green's camp, how many pieces on both sides of the board are eyeing green's camp. And this just makes sense. Green is weak. Weaknesses in this game get exploited. So green decides to take. I thought maybe pushing was a little bit better because it locks in a lot of the yellow pieces. This bishop's not much of a threat. This isn't much of a threat. And I thought this was good because, yeah, eventually, he'll take. Let's say if red even attacks him and I develop, he'll take. And I was thinking maybe just, ignore this pawn and just move your knight somewhere. So maybe move your knight here, something like that. And because here what happens is yellow's kind of in his own way. Like he can't do much to green at this point. Even if he pushes, green can ignore it. He can just develop and kind of just try to get back in the game. Develop his rook, develop his queen, and maybe even block this, right? So I thought this was a better continuation, but he decided no, he decided he wants to just proactively take. Sorry, not that. He decided he wants to take. And the thing is, this doesn't really threaten anything. So, he's just waiting for yellow to build on the pressure here. But anyways, it was played, and red opens this up. He's ready for an attack. I develop as planned. Yellow goes in, and green kind of has to take because the knight was too dangerous otherwise. So green takes. Not sure what the purpose of this move was. I thought maybe this was better. But anyways, it was played, and I just keep developing. And green tries to get out of this mess, but I mean, he's in trouble. You know, he's got red on him, and this is pinned, so he probably has to take this way or with his queen. And this is already on this square too. If he takes this way, then you know that comes with its own problems because yellow's probably going to open this diagonal. So let's see how this shakes out. I develop. Yellow does open this diagonal, getting ready for this. He's anticipating probably green to take this way, and then he would just play a discovery check. And this is just super devastating for green. So green sees that, and he decides to take with his queen, keep this diagonal closed. Red develops, I develop, and yeah, so now the bishop takes the queen, of course. And notice that this is still pinned, so green has to take this way now. And yeah, this problem is still a thing. And that's just really unfortunate for green. He's behind on development. He went for this line where he took the pawn, and I don't think that was wise. So now he's on the defensive, and he's going to be for a good chunk of this game from now on. But as you'll see, even when you're down in this four-player chess game, you can still make a comeback, especially if another player kind of cooperates with you in a win-win type situation. And you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. So, all right, so red goes in here. He's probably preparing double checks on the green king, going in for checkmate. So I take this pawn because when yellow moved his bishop, this pawn basically became up for grabs. So now yellow got distracted a bit by my bishop, so he couldn't quite play this discover check. So I'm already kind of helping green here by bothering yellow. So he sidesteps the check, and red develops. All fair. I move my bishop back from the line of fire. And now look at this, guys. Look at this diagonal. And remember, red sacked his dark square bishop. He doesn't have it. So now this is going to come back and bite him, as you'll see in the game. All right, so yellow develops. Green, starts developing, gets something going. I thought maybe this move was better. Maybe this, just kind of playing more conservative. But he decides to go, open up his bishop. It's a good start. Pretty active move by red. He gets his queen out. He's eyeing my pawn here. And I decide to defend this way. I decide to defend this way and just get my knight in over here in this camp. I am a little worried about this move because it forks my rook and bishop. And if I take that, then red can come in and check me here with his queen. So I got to be careful. There's weird sharp lines like that. And it depends on how the players play this. So yellow decides to push his pawn, open up his rook. All good. Green decides to develop. Makes sense. He can't move the bishop because this would hang. And now red decides to go for taking this pawn. Notice I gave this pawn up when I moved my knight over, so I stopped defending it. But the reason I did, and red decided to take it anyway, was because, I'm the player on red's left-hand side, so if I attack his queen, there's two more players making moves before he can respond to this, right? And that might just get him in trouble, as you'll see. So yellow moves. This is a great active move by his bishop, for his bishop. And now because red is under threat, green can gang up on him. And you see how we're cooperating here. And already you see that even though he's behind on development, green's got some real chances here to make a serious dent in red's camp. So red sees this, and he goes, basically he just kind of escapes. If I were red, I would have probably played here or something to that effect. Or I might have even considered taking this bishop. It's a dangerous bishop. And you'll see why. So he decides to sidestep. And my turn. And now I want you to see if you can pause the video here, guys, and find out a move for me to help attack red. What's a really powerful attack I could initiate on red here? I'll give you a couple of seconds to figure it out. Feel free to pause the video. Okay, so the idea of this attack is to checkmate the red king immediately. And what I played in the game was bishop here. So now these really weak dark squares are starting to bite red, like we talked about. He's basically completely exposed. And if yellow were to make a random move, like let's say maybe this, green would checkmate the red king because there's nothing else the red can play here to get out of this check. Super, super dangerous stuff. And red missed this entirely. But luckily for him, yellow didn't just play a random move. He saw that this was happening, and he decides to distract green with a check. So now green can't play this. Red survives. And what's really funny here, guys, check this out. So this bishop is on the green king, but my own bishop, I mean, I was going for the red king, but look at this. It's blocking the flight squares. So this is almost checkmate on green now. How crazy is that? So try to find the only legal move for green at this point to get out of check. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so the only way he can block this check, he can't move his king. He can block with his bishop, and he does. And the problem is now, this bishop is up for grabs, and this is checkmate. Look at that. That is just wild. So now red, I mean, he's happy he is not checkmated. So he should definitely eliminate one of these two attacking pieces. And if I were him, I would have played this move because I don't think green is ever going to have a chance to take this. After this, I make any move really. And after yellow takes this, it's checkmate. And this time, instead of my bishop, it's the red queen. That's got this nasty diagonal. So it's checkmate. And so I think red should have gone for this, but he decides to eliminate the other attacking piece. That's fair. And now my turn before yellows, this is critical, so he can't quite take this yet. I see he's about to, and I know checkmating a player is 20 points, so I don't want to give yellow that free gift. So I move back with my bishop, and I start eyeing this diagonal here. So now when yellow takes this, it's just 5 points for the bishop, but it's not checkmate. Green can react to this, and the game goes on. So red is coming in, and I think he wants to probably start bugging the green king and maybe try to find a checkmate. Not sure. I make a developing move, so I move my rook up. Remember that this knight move was kind of a constant threat, and I want to just preempt those kinds of tactics by moving over here. Yellow takes the rook, and I think red, maybe he wanted this check. That's why I moved his queen here. And this is super dangerous. I mean, the green king doesn't have too many squares. And I mean, look at this. It's about to get checkmated. So he tries to create some space, but this is very dangerous. Now, yellow might even play this, depending on what he wants to do. My move first, though, and I bring out my queen, so I start threatening this here. And I'm also kind of eyeing the green king here. Maybe I can make a checkmating move when he's under attack and get 20 points for myself. So we'll see. Yellow defends this. Green runs away with his king. And now red notices that my queen is defending this pawn, so he can play this move. I'm not a huge fan of helping red in this position, so I move my queen elsewhere so that green can just take this. Yellow gets his bishop out of nothing zone, and he's maybe eyeing checkmating ideas like that. Green takes. And yeah, he's definitely going after the green king and wants to just find some way to checkmate, slowly but surely. I go here, so I counter threat against the red king, and this could be dangerous for red, so he has to respond. Yellow to move, and he tries to distract me here. Green, gets some more defenses on his king, opens up his bishop. Great move by him, and cuts off this kind of threat also by doing this. Excellent move. Red sidesteps this really nasty check. I think this was wise. And remember, didn't mean to do that. My turn, and remember, I'm under threat here, so I have to respond to this somehow. I thought maybe this check, but I don't think it does anything. Green isn't checkmated. He can move here, and the red knight can take my bishop. So I just decide to just go for this pawn. Go for this pawn. Stay on this diagonal. And now I'm actually threatening a real checkmate on green with my king. So if I'm allowed, I'd love to grab 20 points this way. But it's not my turn yet. Yellow to move, so he plays his bishop back. Not sure exactly why, but he does. Green, he goes for this free rook, free 5 points. Problem though is he actually, it's just a great move, I think. So now red to move, and he sees that I'm about to come in and checkmate green here. So he doesn't want to give me the 20 free points. So he defends the green king himself. So really interesting, guys, eh? So I helped defend green, and now red is helping defend green because each of us doesn't want the other to grab 20 free points. And that's life when you're a 4-player chess player. So I developed my rook instead. Couldn't find anything better to do here. And he goes for this idea. I'm not sure exactly what he's hoping for here, but it was played. Green gets some more space for his king, maybe a flight square eventually at some point. Check. I play my bishop here. This is now a threat. Or it could be at some point. It is defended though, so maybe not an immediate threat. Yellow goes after my rook. Green sidesteps the check. Red moves out with his king. He's now controlling, I guess he wants some sort of development going here. But this is a problem. I mean, green can come bother him when he's not in check himself. So let's see how this shakes out. I play my rook up, more pressure on this diagonal. This knight is, there's just a lot of pressure here. Yellow decides to eliminate my knight. Fair enough, but this isn't a big deal. I could just take back with my queen here. So after red goes after, or after green goes after the red queen, red gets out, starts eyeing me here, and I take back. Yellow pushes, and the idea behind this push, guys, it does weaken this pawn. I can just take it. But look at this beautiful threat now in my camp. And that's the idea that I actually missed in the game. So you'll see how I pay for that. Green goes back with his bishop. Again, gets on the red queen here. Red sidesteps. And now I should see this threat at this point. And I should make a move like maybe, queen back. stay actively engaged here on this king, but I missed it, and I instead play my pawn up. I was looking for an improving move, and this is in fact a blunder. This is a big blunder, as you'll see. So yellow takes, but I blundered more than that. You're going to find out soon why. Green pushes, gets his queen to safety by doing this push. This is great improvement. And you'll see how he, managed to survive with a little help from me, but he played it very well. This is good defense. And now look at this move. So when I pushed my pawn, I gave up defense of this square, and now I'm in serious trouble. There's opportunities for them to gang up on me very, very easily here. So I have to think of something, and I decide to block this check, because this check could, create a lot of problems for me. And also I'm on the yellow king here, so this is a good place for my bishop. Yellow develops his queen, and green decides to distract red. This is great. Red blocks. And now here, this is a critical moment, and it's my move. And now I want you to pause the video and try to figure out what move blue should play in this position. Okay, so in this position, the best move, I would argue, is queen takes pawn, believe it or not. Now, this looks like a total blunder and a ridiculous move, but hear me out. So let's say if yellow were to make a random move here, what would happen is green would take here, and now red is in double check, so he can't take it. He can't take anything, because when you're in double check, as you guys know if you play regular chess, the only way to get out is to move the king. So now the only legal move for red would be this, and now it's just over because I can go in and attack. And again, if yellow were to make a random move, green would take here. Another double check, and this time it's checkmate. So real good threats that I had, but in the game I missed this. What would likely happen, by the way, guys, if I actually played here, yellow would he would try to make a distracting move, and green would likely gang up anyways. And after this, now I no longer can play this, because now the situation is very different. With this yellow rook here, the situation is very different, because now, knowing that green is about to checkmate red, yellow would play this move, and now he's checking he's checking the green king, and so green cannot checkmate. He has to get out of check, and this is just unfortunate for me because now I just straight up lose my queen. And now it's just not made anymore. It's a totally different situation. So yeah, what would happen likely after this, after yellow takes here, I would probably have to take back. He takes, yellow moves. I would probably have to take back here and leave this bishop alone. And now yellow would probably, go in and keep attacking. And green would probably take here, check, and the game would go on like this. So real sharp lines, but this is what could have happened if I saw this amazing opportunity to go in with my queen. Now in the game I didn't. This is a big inaccuracy. I took with the pawn instead, threatening, discoveries, but it's not fast enough. Yellow pushes. Green has to back off. Now if he takes, he can just lose his bishop. So it's not worth it for him. He keeps his bishop, and red takes my queen. So totally different than what could have happened. I take the knight back. Now yellow, the purpose of his previous move was to open this check on green, so he goes for that. Green runs away with his king. Red takes back. He wants to avoid this discovery. Totally fair. And notice how there isn't a good checkmate idea here because green has this flight square. So red can't even do much to checkmate green here. So he just decides to parry this threat instead. I take the knight. I'm defended. And this is also attacking this here. Lots going on. So here, yellow should probably, take this, or maybe even take my rook. Taking my rook might be better because, he's defending this. But instead, he just ignores that and he goes after green. Probably too ambitious. Because now, green has to respond. He blocks with his rook, only legal move. Red to move. Okay, so red goes after me because he doesn't have a good way to go after this green king. His pawn is in his way. His bishop's not developed. His rook's not developed. So, he decides to go after me instead. And, this is threatening. There's some ideas here. For example, if I'm not careful, if I play, a random move, let's say if I play, maybe if I take this, for example, this kind of idea is possible um, with this to follow. So I have to be careful here. I make sure I don't let these two players gang up on me with their pieces so close to my camp. And to do that, actually, I want you guys to tell me, if you were blue and it was your move, how would you parry the threat? Feel free to pause the video and figure out the best move for blue here. Okay, so in the game what I played is bishop takes pawn check. And the idea is my bishop's defended, my rook's defended, and with yellow in check, he cannot do funny business against my king. He has to address this check first. So he moves up. And now, of course, the problem for him here is the fact that I can even play a discovery check. So he has to be super careful. Green takes the rook. That's totally fair. It's up for grabs pretty much. And if he takes here, I would take his queen. So he probably wouldn't do that. Instead, red goes back here. I'm not sure exactly why. I would have probably developed my rook if I were him. But anyways, that was played. And I played a discovery check. Yellow sidesteps. Notice how yellow doesn't have too many moves here. This bishop is covering the square. This square is covered by my bishop. And just look at these three bishops, basically, just totally crushing the yellow king. There's only one legal move left for yellow. Well, I guess two. He can always play here and let green take his rook. But he goes for the other, which is this. And there wasn't really a good choice here because no matter what he does, the green bishop is coming after him. And now it's after his queen. So red to move, and he knows what's about to happen. So he decides to interfere by checking the green king. As for me, I play my bishop back, knowing that yellow's in check. I want to grab his rook, get this attacking piece out of my camp. Yellow sidesteps. Green has to address this check. So for green, moving with his king isn't a great option because yellow can take the rook. So he makes the best move, which is blocking the check. Red takes. I take the rook, so now my king is much safer with this rook out of the picture. And now yellow to move. Now, this is another really interesting moment, guys. I want you to pause this video and tell me what yellow should play here. if he wants to be very aggressive. Okay, so if you said take the rook, that is not quite the answer because green can just take back, and there isn't much here. But if you said he should take the bishop, that's real interesting. And the thing is, the point of this move is before it's my turn to respond, same thing as before it's my turn, two other players have to make moves, and they can do a lot to distract me before I can respond to this move. So, for example, green, yeah, he takes back and defends his king. This is great. And now for red, he's got options to distract me left and right. So if you were red, try to figure out what move you would play. Okay, so in the game he played this move, attacking me multiple ways. This is fair, but he even had a better option that I'm going to show you, and that's take the bishop. And the problem for me, if he takes the bishop, is if I take back, I'm leaving, well, first of all, I'm leaving my rook hanging, the bishop's gone. And second, I'm leaving this check hanging against my king. And it is just nasty, incredibly nasty. Because let's say if, green were to make any move, maybe here, he can come in and checkmate me by covering my flight square here. So this is incredibly nasty. And I have to be super, super careful here. I can't take this queen because I allow a mating opportunity for these two players to gang up on me and mate me. So really need to be careful. If he took my bishop, I have no choice but to take the yellow king. And basically, um, after that, I suppose, he could play anything, and he could play anything, and I've allowed this check, and he's free to grab my bishop. So this was a really good continuation by red. But in the game, he doesn't see it. He decides to attack me this way. Same thing, I have to get rid of this really dangerous queen because it's coming in. And now yellow doesn't have much. Red can even attack him here. So green moves out of this pin. He's getting ready to move his rook now. And red goes for this check. I take back with my rook to save my rook. And the game goes on. So I thought he would take this, but he decides to not do it, or he doesn't see it. I defend, and yeah. So now we're just each player is kind of just um, trying to strengthen their position against threats. Yeah. So he goes after this here, and over here I should have probably played this move. Played my bishop, protect my king. I don't see it though, and I decide to go after yellow. Green sidesteps, and now red can come in and check me here. And he's checking green as well. So pretty powerful square for his queen. I block. Yellow finally gets to his promotion square. This is his 8th rank from where he starts, so that's where he promotes. And notice how green can't take back because he's in check by red. So another wild moment in the game. He has to push to block the check instead. I have to deal with this check from red myself. So I play the pawn up, and yellow takes. Green decides to block this way. Red goes here. I guess he's trying to block escape paths for this green king. And now the thing is, I see that green's no longer in check, and he's still got this threat. And I don't want the yellow queen around, so I check yellow. I check yellow, and I allow this to happen because now yellow has to address the check. So yellow loses his queen almost as fast as he got it. And I mean, look at how wild this game is. Now red's moving in here. He's kind of cooperating with yellow, hoping yellow doesn't take. And he wants this kind of attack, I guess. The thing is, my rook covers. So, he might be disappointed. I play my rook up. And in hindsight, I should have probably played here with these ideas. But I don't see it. I play it over here instead. And now I also leave it open, vulnerable to this bishop. Yellow just pushes, green pushes, and red takes. So notice how if red didn't take, let's say if he played some random move, I can actually checkmate yellow here now. Watch this. With the red queen covering this row, my rook covering this row, it's just checkmate. So luckily for yellow, I mean, look at how wild this game is. Luckily for yellow, now red saves him. So I guess he returns the favor. And the game still goes on with 4 players still standing. Notice how 3 players could have been checkmated by now, but somehow we've all managed to stay in the game. My king so far has been the safest, but even I had some trouble, with that at that moment that red was in my camp. So it's been wild, but let's see how this shakes out. So we continue. I attack yellow. Green kind of just moves around. Red starts developing more and more. Green starts moving around. Yellow gets another queen, but it doesn't last long because I take it. Red starts attacking me, and oh, green ran out of time. So he is now out of the game, and he's got a zombie king, which is running around randomly. And if you don't know what a zombie king is, I got another video on it. I'll link in the description. It's a really weird concept, but it's a thing in 4-player chess. So the game goes on. He takes here, and I sidestep the check. Notice how his pawn is kind of stuck, and it's kind of just in his own way. So I like that setup. I don't want to touch that pawn. Yellow attacks me. I run away. Red goes after my king here. I think he wants to go after my king. I try to, you know, slow down his attack and run away with my king. And in the meantime, with all this commotion, yellow gets a 3rd queen. So now finally, I decide not to take his queen, keep my rook instead. And yellow goes after red. But this is just too, I guess he doesn't like his queens because he loses them right after he makes them. So we trade down some pieces, and now we're in an end game, and red is probably the strongest player, so we have to, try to gang up on him if we can. Yellow gets a 4th queen! And right off the bat, he's on my pawn, so I have to address this. I defend. Red is moving his pawns forward. He probably wants his own queen. I go after red because he's the strongest player. Yellow follows suit. I keep checking red. And look at this, guys. So here, the red king, even though the red king's in check, the red queen is covering this row here. And with his king queen, yellow can go ahead and check the zombie king and get 20 points for himself. So now he's leading in points. Zombie king is officially knocked out for good. And red gets out of check. I move back. Yellow goes after red. I go after red. He's the strongest player. Yellow wants to take this. I push. Yellow does take this. Red pushes for a pawn, or for a queen rather. And now, in this moment, guys, I want you to pause the video one final time and tell me, if you were blue, what would you play as the best move? Can you find blue's best move in this endgame? Okay, so the best move here is to see that I have checkmate on the red king. because my rook is covering this row, the queen is covering all of these squares, and so I can just checkmate. Grab 20 points and go into an endgame. Rook, 2 pawns, and a bishop against the queen, and duke it out against yellow. In the game I missed this. I do see a threat here on me, so I parry that threat, but I miss mate. Would have been nice, but I miss it. And the game goes on. We all push. I'm probably the stronger threat, so yellow wants to go after me. I go back. Yellow doesn't want red to queen. Yellow takes the red pawn. We shuffle around. Yellow goes after me. I'm strong. Shuffle around, shuffle around. Red is about to queen again, so yellow decides to go after red. With this check, I take the pawn, and now red is pretty much toothless. And it's yellow against me, so he's trying to check me around, catch my pieces undefended. So check, check, check. We just follow around, and he's just trying to exploit some sort of weakness in my position. And he finally blunders. He blunders his queen, and now the game's over. We shuffle around, and I just go straight after the yellow queen to checkmate him, and eventually I get there. What a game. What a game. From the 3 checkmates that never happened in the beginning, to the final blunder by yellow, to everything that we missed all throughout. What a roller coaster of a game. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. And if you like videos like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below letting me know you do and you want more. And I will see you in the next video. Stay cheerful.